Hey guys, so we're going to be doing a transmission drain and fill and replacement of the gaskets on a 2009 Lexus ISF. This is the car right here. And here are the parts that we have for it. Transmission filter, there's your part number. Gasket, part number 35168 510. There's going to be some gaskets here, 2 of them, and then one for the actual the strainer, the filter, because it does have a gasket and you want to replace it, so it goes between it. So these are the parts. You just want to have a good scan tool to actually check transmission temps. Without it, you're basically guessing at it. So you definitely want to have something like this. I'm using a Maxi Pro today from Altel. It works good. So just something that you can actually just read your transmission temps. Even an OBD2 scanner that's on your phone, if you can read your transmission temps, then that's what you want to do. Okay. So because the transmission fluid has to be at a certain temperature until you let it go. But yeah, so let's get started on the job, and I'll get right back with y'all. All right, so we're under the car. So you got this cover. We got to remove that. It's a bunch of 10mm bolts. Just go ahead and remove all your bolts. And then you'll see the transmission pad under it. That's 2. Pull this to the side because you don't want to step on it. So put it to the side. Alrighty. And then here comes the pan itself. So the pan, there she is. And all the little bolts you want to take off, a bunch of 10mm bolts, 14mm bolts is for the fluid. So that's the first thing you want to do is you want to drain the fluid out. So go down here, take that 14mm off, let it drain out, and then go from there. All right guys, so this bracket here has to be removed. So 15mm, Seiki headers have the 15mm, and then 2 14mm with brackets, so you can get the 2 bolts right there. So obviously you see it draining, so it's draining, and so yeah, this bracket has to come off. So I'm in the process of doing that. So I'll see you in a little bit. But yeah, you want to remove all your bolts. You don't want to drop them. But before you take them completely off, you want to leave like one on there, and then we're gonna leave. That one right here. I'm just gonna loosen it up just a little bit. Okay, that one's ready to go. So all the bolts are off. So what you want to do is now is take your factory bolt, your plug, and put it back on, because this pan will be full of fluid. So once you start moving it around, it'll come out of that hole. So put your 2 plugs back on. You know, obviously it's all drained out, but there's going to be more still coming down. And once you have that, I'm gonna grab something right quick. Alright, so we're back here. Now we're gonna remove that last bolt that we have, 10 millimeter. All the other bolts are off. Pretty certain. Let me see. Yep. Put the two nuts, drain bolts back on. Take this last bolt. Now you take a little screwdriver and you do a little twisting here, and going around, and twist a little bit out. See? And you can see a gap. And then you just gently bring it down. And the reason why you're doing it gently because it's full of fluid. Oh. There you go. Oh. It always does that. No matter what. So just try not to do that, and it'll be better because transmission fluid is just sticks everywhere, man. So anyway, there it is. So here's your pan. Make sure all the fluid's out of it. As a fact, we're just gonna let it sit there for a little bit with all the fluid coming out. So here's your transmission filter right there. Bunch of little bolts you got to remove and take that out. And then once you remove this filter, you're gonna have a bunch of more fluid coming down. So you got to be careful with that. And there's a seal there. So when you're prying down on it, it's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna be, and then all of a sudden, more fluid comes down. So just be careful when you do that. You'll get it all over you too. It's great to have a lift when you do this. But anyway, so that's how all that looks. So I'll be right back. All right, guys. Well, here's the pan. Cleaned it up, right? Magnets got cleaned by somebody. I'm not gonna say who, but anyway. So they got cleaned, and pan is clean, gasket's on. And then you want to put your drain plug, this one, back on, and go ahead and put your new brush washer in it. Because this one you're not going to be removing it off anymore. So just go ahead and put that on there, snug tight. And your other one, you can also do the same thing with that one. You're going to take it off, but don't tighten it up. And then that part is ready. The next step now is to put this guy. So we're gonna go back to the car, remove the other one before we put this one on. And I'll show you our video on how to do that. Okay, so we'll be right back. All right, so we're getting rid of the old transmission filter, or how Toyota calls it, transmission strainer. So I'm gonna be removing that, and like I was saying before, there is a gasket that is under it, and there's fluid that stays in there. So once you remove it all, you're not gonna want to come down right away. You're gonna have to like wiggle it down. So these bolts, you can just kind of just take them off and not worry about it coming down. Now that I say that, I want it to come down. But normally it just stays up there. All right. That's that. So all the bolts are now removed. And then gently, push down on it and then pull it out. And while you do so, more fluid's gonna come out. And that's what you do. And if you look up into the hole right there, you'll see that the gasket is still in there. If you see the gasket right here. So that gasket you want to remove. If you double up the gasket, it gives you all kind of issues. So make sure you replace the gasket and make sure you take the old one off. You know. So now from here on is, you know, it's easy. Just go ahead and just put the gasket in and then put your filter back on. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll be back. Okay guys, so filter's off, showed you all that. The new one's already on, nice and torqued. Now time to put the pan back on. Just double check always everything is lined up on your gasket. It's a very good gasket, so I don't have to worry about that too much, but that's it. And then just put all your bolts back on. So just get under the car and do that. Let's do that right now. Basically concentrate on one bolt. Get one bolt in, and then it could stay up by itself. Just kind of go in all the ways as much as you can with your fingers, and it'll kind of hold it into place. And move to another bolt on the other side. Just keep moving around. So let me go ahead and finish putting these on, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so all the bolts are on my finger. Then you're gonna X them out. I already tightened some of these. So this one's tight. So then we're gonna come over here. This is the first one. Put on. So pan's on. What then we're gonna do is take the change the gasket on this one, because I didn't do it when I put it on. So I'm gonna grab the other gasket. That's all the bloopers. Blooper. Gasket on there. And, we're not going to tighten this one up too much, but just enough, because now we got to fill up the transmission full of fluid. Alrighty. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the plug, the fill plug on the side of the transmission, which is right over here. Let's see if I can get a better light so y'all can see it. Alright, so it's going to be right there. You see the tool? That's your drain, that's your fill plug. Alright, so we're going to take that off, and what you need is actually a 24mm, something like this. This is a tool from Harbor Freight, but this is 24mm, so works out good. And that's where you're going to be putting your transmission fluid through. Just get it in there. Alright, once it's tight, go ahead and finish it off with your hand. It's a fat little plug. This one you don't have to worry about the gasket. It never really has fluid up there. So it does have a little ring, but you don't have to worry about that one. So, Next step now is to set up the setup for adding fluid to it. So I'll be right back. All right, guys. So now it's time to pump up the fluid. You want to put in there about 4 to 5 quarts of fluid. It's going to be overfilled, but you want that, right? You want it to be over, because you're going to later on get exactly about through here. So right now you just want to overfill the transmission. So take these quarts, you know, obviously use your ATF World Standard, you buy the pump that you can get at AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts, and then stick it up on top of the hole, the one y'all saw, and then just pump them in. Go ahead and do that, and go ahead and pump up all the fluid into the transmission. Once you finish with 1 quart, you know, take it out and, you know, put another one in there. So anyway, let me get done with this and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I got everything pretty much done under there. Finished putting the fluid back on, tighten everything back up. Now I got the scanner on there. I'm using this Maxi Pro. So MP808 and from Altel, and basically I got it on live data, and I'm at an automatic oil temperature. That's what you want it at. See, so it's 87.8 right now, so we want it hotter than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the car, and then get under the car with the scanner. So be right back. Ready. All right, so as you can tell, the temperature is 101.6. So now we're gonna take this plug off right here. This needs to be between 195 and 105. So we're gonna take that plug off, and then the excess is gonna come out. Let it drain out until it just starts coming down through like a little trickle, and then you can put it back. You'll see it start fluffing. So that's all excess, but it's topping this stuff off by itself. You always got to do that while it's running. Where it starts giving you like bubbling and stuff like that. So you let it trickle for a little bit while. And there you go. So now that's tightened. So at that point, we're done with the transmission. It's at its right temperature, and you know we're down at 105.8. But we pulled it out while it's still under 105. So yep, that's how you do that. So let me turn off the car, and then you know, finish with some last words. Everything done on the car. Transmission got drain and filled, and the filter was replaced. If you got any questions, let me know. I do a lot of work on these cars, so you know, just post on the YouTube videos, the YouTube channel, and just post whatever questions you have. I'll be happy to answer them for you. And so see you on the next time.